Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and welcome to Across the Pitch, Across the Pub. My name is Phil Kennedy, and today I'm joined by Darren Woodhead and Tony Robinson for an extra special episode. It's an extra special episode because we don't have a guest for once today. That means that you get to hear from the three of us, but we have some great stuff lined up where we're going to go back and we're going to kind of cover the Stanley season that was a historic season that saw Accrington finish higher in the table than ever in the modern era with the 11th place finish in League One. That works out to Accrington being the 55th best team in all of England, which, all things considered, that's pretty damned impressive, and I think that's a great way to start. So first off, Darren and Tony, thanks for joining, and I know you guys had to have enjoyed the season. We had some ups and downs, but the end result, I mean, when you have a historic finish like that, you really can't complain, can you?
No, definitely not. Nice to speak to you guys. No, I mean, when you've put it like that, Phil, 55th, team in England, it's quite incredible, isn't it, really? So, yeah, it was a strong finish. The last few games, a little bit up and down as it went on, but towards the end. But, yeah, it was a strong finish, which sets us in good stead for next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I can't disagree with both what you fellas have said, and I'm looking forward to spending an hour or so with you guys. Well, an hour, we might not make it that long, but
the listeners might not, at least.
Well, I just spent an hour and a half, 2 hours with my internet provider and got nowhere. So speaking to you guys is an absolute.
Does that mean you're cheesed off right now, Tony?
I am cheesed off. You betcha. You betcha. I could crack a walnut with anyway. Okay, before now that we've got the intro out of the way, and before we get into a couple of the subjects about the season, the one thing I think we should get out of the way to begin with is a couple of projects that we have underway. Well, you guys do. I'm sitting back in the background watching this amazing work, and I'd like, first of all, Phil, if you could just give us an update and talk to us about this absolute amazing Accrington Stanley trading cards that you've been working on.
Well, thank you, Tony. I mean, that was a fantastic introduction, and I think that Darren and I really are just working hard and trying to live up to the world famous rapid fire. I mean,
yeah, get on with it, Phil. I just put you in a nice big softball. Hit it and get on with it.
Well, the Accrington Stanley trading cards, I've got to say, it's a bit of a dream come true, really. And first and foremost, I have to thank Peter Latham for all of the work that he's done to make this an absolute top-class grade A product. So it really all started, I want to say, about 3 months ago. I came to the idea that, Accrington Stanley needs some trading cards because, especially over here in the U.S., baseball, basketball, football, hockey, and, also soccer, as we call it, cards over here for the MLS, even Premier League cards, all of those have become extremely popular. And I started looking online and just realized that there weren't really any options for people who wanted to collect trading cards of League One. So I came to Peter with the idea. We ended up pitching that to the Supporters Trust Board. Everybody kind of loved the idea and ran with it from there. And, Peter has just done an amazing amount of work in terms of getting the cards to look exactly like an American trading card would. So, I mean, what I did was I sent over samples of the Topps baseball trading cards, and the U.S. Topps baseball cards are iconic. They've been around for, this is now the 70th year that Topps made a baseball card set. So I sent those over. We matched the size, we matched the card stock. So when folks get these Accrington Stanley cards, what they're holding in their hand is going to look and feel just like a baseball or a basketball card that they've been collecting their whole lives. It's going to fit in a standard binder, standard top loader sleeves. And best of all, what we've done is, in true Accrington Stanley fashion, we have given people the most value for their money. This is a pound a pint. This is a $40 a shirt type of thing, where you're going to get an entire 20-card Accrington Stanley team set for £7 in the UK or $10 US. If you wanted to buy a box of Premier League trading cards, I've looked at the stores. They're running anywhere. I've seen between $600 and $950 for a box of Premier League trading cards. You can literally buy 90 sets of Accrington cards for what you're paying for one box of trading cards. And the best thing is, it's a limited print run of 1,000. These are all limited edition cards, fully licensed by the team licensed photographs, and to top it all off, each player has hand-signed 29 cards, which are randomly inserted in the set. So all you have is a $10 bill, and you have an excellent chance of pulling an autograph. And I've been telling people, for instance, Stanley's side this year has a guy, Nathan Baxter, who's on loan for Chelsea. This is a guy with a clear path to potentially be the starting keeper for Chelsea one day. We've created a rookie card for Nathan Baxter or any of the players. I mean, I'm just thinking about some of the Legends cards. We have Billy Key. I mean, how many people in Accrington are going to want to have a Billy Key card in their collection? And then what took the cake for me is seeing John Coleman, the man, the football genius himself, holding a pack of cards with his own trading card. And I mean, John Coleman, this guy is a legend. They're going to make a movie. They're going to make a Netflix series about him someday. And we have just made his rookie trading card right here.
And these are available by the time this is released. They'll be available at the market stall, and they can go online and order these, Phil?
Yeah, so they're already available at onstanleyon.com through the Supporters Trust. If you're in the UK, the cards are going to actually, all the rest of the sets are going to ship to me, I believe, at the end of next week. So figure by the end of May, first week in June at the very latest, I'm going to have all of the sets over here in the U.S. They're going to be available worldwide through my eBay store, which I'll put out a link to several times for just $10 US. You'll be able to buy a set and have it shipped anywhere in the world from my eBay store. Also, locally in Phoenix, the sets are going to be carried at Hot Corner Sports Cards in Mesa, Arizona. So we do have a physical retailer that's partnering with us. And then you'll also be able to buy the cards on the Across the Pitch website, acrossthepitch.com. I'm in the process of setting that up. And that's going to be, if you're in the U.S., you'll probably want to go and purchase through acrossthepitch.com. If you're anywhere else in the world, then go and probably purchase on eBay, because I do get discounted international shipping rates on people that purchase through eBay. So whatever, wherever you're out in the world, I'll make sure I can put a set in your hand for the lowest price possible. And this is something where I advise everybody buy two sets. Buy one set to take out and display and keep for yourself and buy another set and don't open it, because one day, 2, 3, 5 years from now, one of these Stanley lads, whether it's Baxter, whether it's Joe Pritchard, whether it's Dion Charles, I mean, there's a million guys that I could see suiting up in a Premier League shirt one day, and you're going to be holding their Accrington Stanley rookie card. So this is something where it's fun, it's history, it's the first ever set in Accrington history. And it's an investment. I mean, for a $10 bill, you can go and you can buy a beer at an MLS game, or you can get a nice pack of Stanley cards. And, I think I know where my $10 would go.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing them get pack in hand, Phil. So, great work to everybody involved, and they look really sharp, and I can't wait to get mine. And another not lesser project that Darren, you've been working on and almost brought to fruition at this point, right?
Right. I don't know how to follow that after Phil's big spiel about cards. No, I'm only joking.
Darren, this is your 7th book. Now that's impressive in itself.
I'm the last.
No, I will bet you a signed trading card that you write another book.
Yeah, I'll keep you to that, because I'm quietly confident this is the last. But yeah, it's all. I'm quite relieved actually that it's all finally getting over the line, and it's the same printers who's been used for the cards is going to be used for the book as well, which is Scott Dawson Printers. So quality products on both, I'm sure. So yeah, it's
not
quite relieved.
Darren, not to interrupt, I did just want to give a quick shout out to Murray at Scott Dawson Printers, because Murray, he is the man behind the actual final design that you see on the cards. I sent him a rough concept, but his artwork is what really made it into a first-class product. So big shout out to Murray.
Yep. Murray does a lot for Accrington. He runs the amazing Accrington sites. Obviously, he's a successful businessman, and Faye, who works with him as well, does a lot with the printing, etc. So, yeah, a big shout out to them. They do put a lot of effort into projects, and I know they help Peter out with a lot of things that have gone on in the fan zone, etc. Yeah, no, they're great people.
So, when is your book going to be? When is the print copy going to be available?
So it's available for general release on the 9th of July. There's going to be a book signing in the Market Hall shop. The subscribers will have a copy the week before. We'll be posting those out. There is over 100 people who've subscribed already, which is fantastic. In different countries as well. I was just looking at the list yesterday. We've got Greece, Norway, US, Canada, quite a few countries where it's going out, and that's always exciting to think that you're sending your book overseas. And I'm, really extremely grateful for everyone who has subscribed and showed that faith in me, really, to pay for something up front before they've even seen it, which is, it's quite special, that. And I don't think it'd happen at many other football clubs. And it's just, once again, the way the Stanley fans come together, and I hope it raises quite a few, a bit of money for the supporters trust, etc., which I'm now part of, and looking forward to it.
Well, I think a lot of it, Phil, Darren, is your previous work and your 50 years of Stanley, and the quality of the workmanship, the writing and everything that you did. I mean, your reputation precedes you. So, and just to put your book over the top, if to increase the sales, I have a little bit of a blurb in there too. So that should put the sales over the top, shouldn't it, Darren?
Yeah, and you're one of the privileged few, Tony, who's actually probably read most of it, which is, I think I've mentioned before. I don't know I'm going to be able to sell you a copy when you've read most of it, which is a problem. But I'll do my best.
First and foremost, Darren, I did want to congratulate you on your new position with the Supporters Trust, which you mentioned there. And then in terms of your book, first, I want to admit that I actually have not subscribed yet, so I'm going to do that first thing after we get off the show. I know I always brag to Tony that I subscribed to the 50 Years of Accrington Stanley book before he did, so my name is ahead of his. So I need to make sure that I at least get my name ahead of somebody's on this one. But
just got till the 31st of May to do so. That's the cut-off point. Just throw it out there, just because that's the last opportunity I'll have to put the names in before it actually goes over to Marion to print.
One thing I did want to kind of ask you about it is, so your last book, 50 Years of Accrington Stanley, the title was a bit self-explanatory until it ended up being about 30 years of Sunderland. But but in all seriousness, your next book, My Football Life, just give us a little bit of an overview of what we can expect to find in the book.
Right. Well, it's almost like a scrapbook of my life as a football fan, really. I've had time to reflect, like we all have in this lockdown, of what actually football means to you. And I was thinking about it last year. And yeah, the actual going watching games is a big part of it. But it's just, when you work it out, it's just been like a lifetime obsession with football, from playing, supporting, writing, even onto podcasts now, and just about everything that's in my life is like intertwined with football. So I just thought it'd be good to write a few short stories down, sent them out to a few friends who I knew would give me some honest feedback, Tony being one of them, and it got a decent reception. And I thought, well, carry on, and the product is a book all about. I hope somebody who's not an Accrington Stanley fan can enjoy it as well. Someone who's just a football fan, because a lot of the stories are just based around supporting your team. So, but I know Stanley fans will like it, because there's quite, it's just packed with information in about different things to do with the club and characters I've met along the way, like you two.
I haven't. I was just going to say. Go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say it's some in the book. There's something. Everybody will connect with something, is what I'm trying to say in the book. You'll be reading something, say, oh, that sort of stuff happened to me, or I did something like that. There'll be a connection, and I think that's important. It's almost like your football diary that you've compiled, and I think it's just an excellent way to tell stories about what's happened with your life and that people can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't read nearly as much as Tony has, but I have seen a few sections that you've sent me here and there. And it's the type of stuff that I think, like Tony said, it's just fascinating to anybody because it's relatable. It doesn't matter what team you're a fan of. If you're a football fan, then you've shared some of these experiences before.
Yeah, definitely. And some of them, like there's the good moments, there's the not so good moments. What it's like being a football fan, the funny stories, the getting lost going to games and things that go wrong, and just about you name it, it's happened to me, along with 40 odd, coming up 50 years of being a football supporter. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finally getting it out there, and hopefully everyone enjoys it.
Yep.
All right. Well, we had a couple more things that we wanted to get to regarding the top 5 episode countdown that Darren had recently posted on social media. We also had some other Stanley-related talk for later. But before we get to that, let's do a little bit of the boring football analysis part of the show, if you will, and just do a little bit of a kind of a reflection on the season. What were our thoughts on the season itself? Key turning points of the year, player of the season, things like that. So let's, Tony, I know that nobody has followed the season as closely as you have, so let's start off with you.
Okay, there's a lot to talk about, but I think one of the things is, unfortunately, is inconsistency in performances, and I put that down a lot to injuries and the fact that there's been a constant turnover in the lineup. But for me, I thought, well, if I want to pick a match that I would want to watch again, the match I would say would actually be the first one of the season against Peterborough. That was an excellent start to the season and showed the quality of the players that Coleman had put together. I think for me, the key turning point was the loss at home to Ipswich, the 2-1 loss, where Keneally was sent off with a red card, which was a bad call. And Baxter got injured and was out for the season. And that to me was the turning point. And as far as a player of the season, I'm going to go not on a flyer, but I'm going to go with somebody I think you might not have picked. I'm going with Joe Pritchard for my player of the season, because I thought he stepped it up this year to another level. I thought the matches he played, he had an influence on. When he came on, he changed the games. In 28 matches, he had 7 goals, 6 assists. And I think if he stays healthy next season, I think we'll see a top-notch player that other clubs will be looking at and could lead the club to bigger and better things. So that's my quick recap of the season.
Yeah, I think that you hit on a lot of good points there, Tony, and certainly injuries did play a big part. And Pritchard, who you mentioned, obviously he spent close to half the season injured himself. And I think that had he been healthy the whole entire year, that he may far and away be the player of the season pick. I'm going to hold off on mine, though, first, because first I want to hear what Darren Woodhead has to say.
Right, well, I mean, what's been strange on top of actually not going to games is the fact that we've so many players who've probably been there 12 months who I've never even seen live in the flesh, which is crazy, isn't it? You know, but there's been some really good signings. I think new guys who've come in, especially on the back line. You know, the likes of Nottingham and Burgess. You know, really decent players at that level. For me, I think Nathan Baxter was the player of the year up until, like Tony said, he got injured, and I think everyone knows that was a turning point for the season. Standout performance, more than quite enjoyed. I enjoyed the Charlton game. I think, is it in January, the 2-0 away win on the Friday night? You know,
January 8th, yes.
Yeah, that was, you know, I mean, for a club like Accrington Stanley to be winning at Charlton Athletic 2-0, it says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been a strange season. I'm just looking forward to, you know, getting back on there and seeing these players in the flesh, like I said, and you make your mind up even more once you've seen them live, don't you?
Yeah.
I think that seeing players live is definitely something that it really can't be made up for now. Honestly, I never get to see any Stanley players live, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely when you're watching on TV, you're going to watch what the TV camera's showing you. If you're there in person and you decide, hey, I want to watch this one guy for 10 minutes, you can do that. So, I mean, that's the experience you're missing out on. My player of the season, it's got to be Dion Charles. I mean, this is a guy where last season he came over and he was impressive impressive. He had 8 goals last year, and what was his first full football league season. This year, he just really took it to another level with 19 goals. I mean, what can you say about 19 goals? And certainly, both of the guys that you've mentioned in terms of Pritchard and Baxter, had either one of them played the full season, that they would absolutely be on my list. But for me, I'm going with the guy that played the whole season.
Yeah, no, a good shout that, Phil. Yeah, definitely.
Now, my most important game of the year, if you will, it's actually going to be a surprising one, because I think it's one where it really is just the epitome of what a John Coleman team is, the never say die attitude. I remember it was in late April. I was speaking with Johnny Hibbard, who you guys may remember from the Belarus and Stevenage episodes we've done. And he's actually a Portsmouth supporter. And he had mentioned to me, he's like, in order for Portsmouth to get an automatic promotion, we need to beat Stanley twice and get 6 points. And I said, well, you know what you've got going for you is that these are must-win games for you. Stanley can't get promoted. Stanley can't get relegated. These are essentially kind of meaningless games. Stanley ended up taking 4 out of 6 points, including the 1-0 win in the final match of the season. To me, when a team goes out away on the road, hundreds of miles away at Portsmouth, with absolutely nothing to play for against a much larger club, and walks away with 3 points in a 1-0 win, that tells me we've got a hell of a season to look forward to next year, guys.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with everything you said there, Phil. So going into next season, what's the thoughts for you two guys about how we need to improve? Because it's probably, just before we do go into it, there's probably not that much that needs improving, because we're going into it with a pretty settled squad. So which positions do you think we need to strengthen?
Well, there's 3 areas I think that we need to look at. We'll just mention about the signing that John did again. Got another, I think this player may be the tallest one of the bunch that came in, 6'6". He's going to be looking down at Nathan Baxter. I mean, not at Cameron Burgess. But where we need to improve, I think we need to sort out the goaltending, to find out what the situation is there. Is it going to be go with Toby as the number 1, or is he going to bring somebody in? He's going to have to bring somebody in to, as a number 2 anyway. So does he bring somebody in with experience, or somebody similar to Nathan Baxter? The other area I think that I probably would look at would be sort of an attacking midfielder, somebody to sit in behind the 2 strikers, and somebody that's got the ability to sort of change the game with a bit of pace, that can score, but also that can, maybe have assists in his bag, that will, as I say, supply the balls to the strikers. But I don't think they're that, to be honest with you, they're that far off. I think there's just a little bit of tweaking to be done.
I'm right on board with what you're saying there, Tony, and the goalkeeper situation. And I love that you said goaltender, because I used to get so much crap about saying goaltender, which is a hockey term. So you made me feel. No, you made me feel a little bit better.
between the pipes.
Yeah. Well, the NHL playoffs are on right now, so that's all you hear about. Anyway, goalkeeper / goaltender.
But like you guys said, I mean, when Baxter got hurt, it really was a turning point in the season. And this isn't to take anything away from Sabin at all, but I'm just looking at the numbers. And so Sabin, he had a 63% save percentage, 1.76 goals allowed per 90. Basically, what I'm looking for in my goalkeeper is for goals against average per 90 to be below 2, which he hit that at 1.76, and for his save percentage to be at least above over 60, which he hit that at 63.2%. So he was very good. He hit the numbers you wanted to. Baxter, on the other hand, was elite. He was at 0.91 goals allowed per 90 minutes, which is less than 1 goal per at a 78% save percentage, which is just unheard of. To me, anything over 70 is elite. So, I mean, it's just you went from having an elite goalkeeper to having someone who was very, very good and very, very capable, just not quite elite. And I compare it a lot to the 2019 season when Connor Ripley left. The team just, it was never quite the same. And to me, after Baxter got hurt, it was never quite the same. And honestly, all things considered, I don't think it's completely out of the question that Baxter could come back on loan next year.
No, perhaps.